The first set of the day will be played on Korhal Floating Island. Spawning in the bottom right-hand position as the blue Protoss from CJ. It's their starter, Bong, with a little bit of pro miss micro at the beginning there with his minerals. Looks like he wanted to make things efficient, but they didn't completely work out.
His opponent, the Super Ace from STX, he could definitely go for the third all-kill of the season, but his journey starts here on Korhal Floating Islands. His name is Innovation, playing for STX as the red Terran on the left top position of the map.
Now, Innovation, he's been struggling a little bit over the past few games in Pro League. You know, he's lost a few, and people didn't really expect that from him. But then he goes into his Codes group and just completely obliterates his opponent. So that leads me to believe that he's fine, just maybe, you know, unlucky game or two, or just things didn't work out. He wasn't completely mentally focused or prepared. This time around, I have a feeling that, you know, if he looks good in his first game, the potential for the all-kill is definitely there. And so far we have well, that's a pretty cool cheerful there. That's actually pretty detailed.
This guy actually came from Busan. It's actually a family trip, it seems like. Also congratulating Innovation for going into round of 4, I do
really
believe.
Nice.
And the referee, oh, Kespa.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Okay, there we go.
Guys.
We're fine.
A little bit of latency there. Nothing to worry about, though. Innovation, I noticed, went for the gas first here, so that's something important to note. And he's getting his barracks following up. We're starting to see gas first from Terran a lot more these days, I've noticed. It's something that in almost all of the matchups, it seems like a more viable choice. Even like Protoss players, they're getting the double gas faster. It just seems like faster gas in general is something that we are seeing more in all of the matchups.
Yeah, well, faster gas for Protoss is, you know, definitely useful when earlier in the game when they have to get the mothership core out to defend against the Terran players. The Terran players, however, they're always like, you know, we're trying to harass the Protoss opponent a little bit more earlier in the game, and we're trying to make sure that the Protoss player cannot get to the late game with a lot of Colossus and a lot of Templars out. So Terran players, they try to be a little bit more aggressive earlier in the game, and that's the reason why he's going for the factory right now. Do remember, the air distance between the natural of Innovation and the natural of Bong is so close compared to the left bottom and the right top position.
Yep, completely true there. Also notice that Bong is doing looks like almost a full wall off here. There may be a matrix in between that pylon and cybernetics core, however. And looks like he's going to go for some early tech here, maybe put up a Stargate even. And
wow,
yes, we are seeing that Stargate opener. I'm actually really happy about this. Stargate openers not so common recently.
Yeah, well, it's a great choice on this map in these positions. First of all, look at this. His opponent, Innovation, is not going to get any scouting inside the main base unless he makes a Reaper right now, which is not the case. He's going for the reactor behind this and going to put the factory next to it. And like I said, the distance between the two players' bases are so close right now. So Stargate, using that to harass around a little bit, is going to be a great choice for Bong, but it also depends on his micro.
That's true. So Innovation most likely going to grab an expansion behind this. He's getting a few Hellions out here, but because of that full wall off, he won't be able to actually get into Bong's base without some type of medevac support to his armies. And there's that command center going down, and Nexus at the same time for Bong here. So both players opting for a more aggressive type of strategy. We have an Oracle on the way from our Protoss player here, so that's going to be pretty cool to see.
I love how it touches the ground and then hits the building.
It's kind of cool there. It's like kind of moving all around there.
It makes like skidding alongside the ground and is still hitting the rocks.
It's actually making the mothership core attack look a lot longer than it normally is. The range isn't actually that long. All right, so the Hellion's going to move over here. They can't get in there though, so there's no point in really doing anything. Innovation chunking away at these rocks over here at his ramp towards the southern side, and the Oracle moving across the map. There's 4 Marines here.
He could fight this, but he needs to be careful because there's a water mine.
This Oracle, actually, that wasn't the greatest micro here from our Protoss player Bong.
And there's 6 Marines out. He can't fight the Marines now.
This is actually kind of sloppy from Bong. If he was controlling that Oracle properly, he could have at least delayed the expansion, which would have been very important to do.
Interesting behind this, Bong is going for the Phoenixes. We haven't seen this in a while.
Yeah, Phoenix openings in PvT, you know, people messed around with them in Wings of Liberty a little bit, but there are a lot of timing windows that they couldn't really, that they were weak to from the Terran side. But with the Mothership Core, it's becoming a little bit more viable, but still still kind of a hard tech path to go through.
Yeah, you need to make sure you don't overmake the Phoenixes, but also you need to make sure you make just enough to make sure that you could defend against the medevac drops. And earlier during the beta days, it was a fantastic way to defend against the boosted medevacs.
It looks like that Oracle actually ended up grabbing a few kills there before making it out, so it's still alive, it's still passively applying that pressure as well. Just get taken down over here, these Hellions. They may actually get picked, yeah, they're going to get picked up and taken out by these Phoenixes. The Phoenixes are revealed, though.
Phoenixes are revealed, but Bong is not overcommitting to it. As soon as he reveals a Phoenix, he's going right into Robo and going to try to tech back into Colossus. So this does, opening up Stargate and going into Phoenix, this does delay a tech a little bit, but certainly if you harass around with the Phoenixes, it's a great choice.
Now look, notice how this Widow Mine is here in this mineral line. That's going to pretty much prevent the Oracle or the Phoenixes from doing too much harassment here. We have that +1 attack already almost completed for our Terran player Innovation, which is actually something scary that Bong may not be completely ready for at this point, because he doesn't have a lot of units right now.
Do remember that he also went for this build, knowing that even if his opponent went for the really fast +1, he can't do anything about it. Instead, all he can do is pick a few SCVs here and there, trying to deal a little bit more damage while trying to get his own Colossus out. But do remember, usually at this point, Protoss players don't have a single forge or a double forge for their upgrades. Bong has none of that because he opened up with Stargate.
Yeah, I think he still only actually has like one gateway, so thinking about that, that could be a little bit scary here. We're seeing an additional Phoenix be built from our Terran Protoss player here. No, that Oracle's got to be very careful. All right, looks like it uses the Revelation or Envision. Revelation, that's it.
Nice Revelation on the Marines. Does save the Oracle also, which means that he could use the Revelation a little bit later into the game.
And those look like some very delicious bagels right there.
Donuts.
They're donuts?
I do believe it was donuts.
All right. Looks like one of them looks like a bagel, but they could be either, because bagels and donuts are actually pretty similar if you think about it.
And they sell everything under the same store.
They're both breakfast foods. They're both
nice snacks and sometimes replacement for lunch.
Yeah, wheat-based stuff.
Especially if you want to watch StarCraft, because you can't bring full food in there. You can't bring like the hamburgers, French fries, soda in there. But you could bring like little snacks in there and then try to eat.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'd say a donut's about the size of a hamburger.
Yeah, but it isn't as messy if you think about it.
Yeah, that's true. The hamburgers can get messy.
I still snuck in a hamburger, so no worries.
All right, well, looking at the game here, we have that first Colossus out. Got a second one on the way here. This Observer may get sniped off by Innovation if he is able to spot that. Looks like he barely misses it here. This Oracle moving in. Could see a Revelation go down.
Revelation on the Marines and the medevacs will be so crucial at this point. That's going to deny Innovation from moving out on the map so easily, because Bong, he's going to see everything that's happening.
And he does go ahead and reveal those units there with that Revelation.
Nice one.
I love this ability because it shows you exactly where your opponent is, and it lasts a long time as well here.
And now Terran players have the question that they need to answer. Do I still go for it even if my opponent is seeing where my units are going, or do I fake out with the Revelation?
Well, that's a lot of units to fake out with, but I mean, I guess you could go for like a drop in the natural or something with a different
fake a drop.
Yeah. No fake drop. Nice continued harassment with this Oracle here. It's really starting to pay off for itself now.
Well, 2 Revelations killing up to 3 SCVs, I have to say it already paid off. I'm not too sure if it's justified still for going with the 6 Phoenixes behind it, but the Oracle itself, he's doing a nice job with it.
We don't really have too much Viking production, though. We have 2 on the way here from Innovation, but not much more beyond that. Bong, he's going to go ahead and take his 3rd base behind this. It's a good decision here. Still really far behind on upgrades, though. That's the one thing I'm really concerned about with this opening here. And, I mean, we have a forge, but do we even have any upgrades beyond that?
He's using it for cannons right now. Seems like, I mean, if he's not going for the upgrades right now, then he should be going for a timing attack pretty soon before the +2 finishes by Innovation.
Well, we have the +1 armor finally on the way here, and the Observers have been doing some good spotting.
A Fleet Beacon.
Ooh, interesting. This could be for the Phoenix range, actually, because he's continuing to make Phoenixes now. He's up to 8 at this point.
Seems like he really does not want to get dropped inside the main base at this point.
He's not going to get dropped, I'll tell you that, man.
He is also getting a +1, so we might even see a complete Stargate switch, because remember, we only have, 1 gateway inside the main base, or maybe 2?
It's true. I know these Phoenixes actually managed to do a lot of damage here. These medevacs, where are they? What are they doing there?
Well, the Marines are right below them, so Bong can actually engage into that right now.
And you know what? The Phoenix builds are so uncommon nowadays that Innovation, he probably didn't practice too much against this style, which is going to put him off by a little bit. We have a second Stargate on the way.
Oh my god.
As well, getting that +1 air attack. This is very interesting. I'm curious to see, is he going to go into the Tempest? He's getting the Phoenix range upgrade here. He could just continue that Phoenix production, but he's not building anything out of that Stargate right now.
So let's talk about the possibilities that Bong can go for. Right now, he's getting a lot of Phoenix using the range against the Vikings and the Phoenix. The Medivacs are going to be really nice, but possible switches. Void Rays, they could be good, but there isn't that many armored units by Terran players, especially if your opponent is going for bio, so it's not going to be great. Tempest, yes, they have amazing range, but they cannot melt those Marines at all.
And well, he's continuing to go for the Phoenixes right now, and he's continuing the Colossus, so pretty much everything right now points to that Phoenix Colossus unit composition. The thing with Phoenix Colossus is that it's very hard to get to it, but if you can get that core unit composition with solid upgrades against your opponent, then it's such a powerful unit composition to deal with. All of these units get revealed here, and
the key point is that the most of the Medivacs have been revealed with that, which means that Innovation cannot easily go for the drop, especially with the Phoenixes out on the map.
I think drops are impossible for him at this point in the game, and I really like that we're continuing to see cannons being added to this third base there, because Innovation, there are little timing windows against this style of play where the Protoss player may be particularly weak due to a lack of upgrades or just not having the perfect unit composition. And Bong is solving that by kind of throwing his opponent off guard early on by getting the Phoenixes and then kind of stopping for a little bit and then getting a lot more at once, going for that double Stargate production. There's no way this Viking count's going to be able to deal with the Colossus and Phoenix count. We got that +1 armor finish now for our Protoss player, but that's it. He's getting this +1 right now. Innovation going for his +2 armor, +3 attack, and +1 air attack at this point. Bong, he wants to take a 4th base right around now, but it's not going to happen. We have some Widow Mines being added into this army here. I would like to see a few Thors. The Thors are actually really good against the Phoenix because...
Well, if Innovation wants... If Innovation wants to attack right now, he needs to focus down on the Colossus and just ignore the Phoenixes. That's what he has to do, because Bong, without the Colossus, he can't deal with the ground army from Innovation.
Well, the problem is, if you focus on the Colossus, the Phoenix are going to tear apart all the Vikings and vice versa. And
remember, he has range.
All right, here we go. This is going to be the big engagement potentially right here. I think he wants to try to trick these Phoenixes into hitting the Widow Mines. Oh, no! That's terrible!
Almost getting picked off, but it's not just enough for Innovation to actually kill all the Phoenixes, but really nice play by Innovation.
Innovation doing a great job there. The Phoenixes are still alive, but greatly damaged, and they're able to kite those Phoenixes decently well despite their speed and the increased range here. The third base goes down. That's actually huge here. Bong is not going to have the economy to continue with this attack here. If the Widow Mines didn't go off, we could have seen a completely different story here, but those 3 Widow Mines actually ended up changing this entire game.
A completely different story. Bong would have actually won the engagement and won the entire game, I have to say, if the Widow Mines weren't over there.
That's true. Those Widow Mines just doing so much damage there. And the thing is, the build was so smart from Bong, but Innovation, he knows how to deal with this stuff, man. He's like, you know what, let me just go ahead and get a few Widow Mines over here and try to, you know, lead my opponent's Phoenix into the location, you know, kite away with them, bait them, you know, using the retarded overlord trick, so to speak here. And one of these Colossus will fall down. The Phoenix count is still decent right now, but the problem is it's basically Phoenix, Colossus, and that's it for the army composition. There's a few Zealots in the main base of Innovation getting caught off guard here. They don't have charge, though. Their upgrades are not amazing. These Marauders could technically kite most of these units, and that's exactly what Innovation plans on doing here against these Zealots.
In fact, Innovation should lose a single unit over there if he micros it carefully.
Now, the issue here for Bong is that he's retaking his third base, which is great. He's getting that +2 air attack that's just about to complete here, but he doesn't have a 4th base. Innovation does. There's also a lot of upgrades on the ground lacking for our CJ player. He's only got 1-1 right now compared to the Terran, who's got +3, +2 armor. He's working on that +3 armor right now.
Yeah, but Bong is doing a nice job trying to replenish all of his army with the Phoenixes right now, and only Colossus, so seems like he really wants to counter the Vikings right away. Nexus Cannon going down once again, and the Phoenix is trying to eat away on those Vikings.
The Phoenix is doing the best they can against the Vikings here. The Vikings, they're not going to be able to kite those Phoenixes really, and this is actually, I think, a bit of a mistake from our STX Soul player here. The Vikings, one-on-one, are not going to be able to destroy the Phoenix because The Phoenix count way too large right now, 10-6.
Yeah, and you can micro those Phoenixes much better than the Vikings. You know, Vikings try to, try to slowly eat away on the Phoenixes, trying to micro. But Phoenixes, they don't, all you have to do is move them around, and they just get a free shot on the Vikings right away.
Exactly. It's you can't really kite against the Phoenixes. The speed's too much. Phoenix is moving in here now. They're going to be able to do a lot of damage to this mineral line here, killing off a good amount of SCVs before backing up. Even though Bong's been behind in supply through a lot of this game, he's done a great job at kind of keeping Innovation guessing and not exactly sure on how to deal with this unit composition.
And do remember, it's not like during the battle, Bong lost a critical amount of Colossus, so even Innovation right now, he's trying to be careful as much as possible. He can't easily engage into the army.
We have the +3 attack on the way for those Vikings there, +3 air attack. Also getting that +3 armor, that's going to be completed very soon here as well. 4th base now operational for Bong. He's got pylons all over the map too, which is a great thing to see. Getting that Twilight Council. 22 minutes for Twilight Council against Terran. I guess it's about time.
Well, it's a new metagame. If you open up Stargate, I guess, seems like Bong wants to engage into this.
He has a few EMPs. The problem is I think there's just way too much bio for our Protoss player to deal with. He's losing a lot of Colossus. The bio just rampaging forward, killing off all of these Colossus here, and then the Phoenix will shortly follow afterwards. Regardless of the Viking count here, there just wasn't enough units to deal with the ground army of Innovation.
And Innovation doing a nice job replenishing most of his army with Marauders only instead of Marines. You know, 3 Marines in the back for support against Phoenixes, but Marauders, they're much better against the Colossus compared to the Marines.
So they don't take as much splash damage, and I felt like there was a little bit too much reliance on the Colossi this game. GG is called from Bong. Game number 1 going to STX Souls. Innovation dealing with a bit of a wonky opening in unit composition. Still being able to pull it off pretty well though in the end there.
What's really interesting is that Bong was saving up on minerals, and he just didn't dump them into Zealots. All he went for is pure Colossus, few sentries, and pure Phoenixes.
Also, his run-bys didn't really do any damage.
Yes,
as well.
If those were in the main army, then he would have actually, had a better time defending against that main attack from Innovation.
I still feel like that first engagement where the Widow Mines went off and killed a lot of units.
That was terrible.
That was the big shift in the game. Because think about all of those resources that could have been invested into upgrades and Twilight Tech that were put into additional Phoenixes that did not necessarily have to be made at that point.
The Phoenixes are fast enough, and if Bong actually realized it, he should have actually microed out of there, but he was too focused on trying to pick off the Vikings.
That's true. So, Innovation currently leading the score 1-0 against CJ Entis. We're going to have to find out the next player that CJ plans on sending out here. The map will be Newkirk, so see a plethora of players sent out here.
You can see any race being sent out here. Ozurg is a possibility. Protoss, Terran, anyone, any race can come out. Any player can come out from CJ Entis. So
I still have a feeling we're going to see a Protoss player, either Hero or Classic. Well, I could see being sent out here.
Hero is, of course, sitting at the end of the bench. So is Hydra. He's twitching a little bit, and it is going to be Hydra.
So it's going to be Hydra. CJ Entis sending out their ace player to try to deal with Innovation early on before he can go for that potential all kill here. So it's going to be Hydra versus Innovation in the second match here.
The map is going to be Newkirk, which is considered one of the more balanced maps in Pro League this season.
Yep, that's true. All right, guys, we got to go into a quick commercial break, but when we get back, the second set between CJ Entis and STX Seoul, Hydra versus Innovation.